Hi everyone, I'm Heather Poduska, founder of the Brand Star Academy, where I teach entrepreneurs how to be powerful, profitable speakers and create their own celebrity personal brands. Welcome to Thrive, the show where I bring you tips, resources, and people who are growing their business, making an impact, and rocking their brands. And I am so excited to have my special guest here today, Paula Plum. Paula Plum is an accomplished, celebrated, and award-winning professional actress who has appeared on stage, in film, and on television for over 25 years. Ms. Plum has graced some of the most well-known stages in New England, including the Lyric Stage, the American Repertory Theater, and the Huntington Theater, just to name a few. She's also appeared in major films such as Mermaids with Cher, Malice, and Stop Wonderland, and was even directed by the genius Woody Allen. Ms. Plum is a 4-time winner of the prestigious Elliot Norton Award, including one for sustained excellence. Past recipients of this award include Ian McKellen and Julie Harris. Paula was also one of only 5 actors nationwide to receive the Fox Actors Fellowship in association with the Speakeasy Stage. Ms. Plum is a founding member of the Actors Shakespeare Project and played roles from Cleopatra to Lady Macbeth. She's trained with some of the best acting mentors in the world, both in Europe at the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art, the Del Art Institute of Paris, and right here in Boston as a graduate of Boston University. Wow, so many accolades, I could barely get them off my tongue. Welcome, welcome, Paula.
Thank you, Heather. I'm so happy to be here.
And I'm so happy to be here because one thing that wasn't on the teleprompter is that you have also been my acting coach. So I know you from the inside, my experience with you on a deep level as an actor and a singer, and having you as my mentor, and also being able to see you on stage as a professional actress. We saw you recently in Tartuffe. And
at the Huntington last year, right?
Yeah, so, and brought my kids, and you were so generous and brought us
that's right. They came backstage.
Backstage.
It was fun.
Yeah, so one of the reasons I wanted to have you on, Paula, is because you are truly, in my opinion, a successful actress. You are one of the few successful, professional, living your life, putting food on your table as a performing actress. And I think that's kind of a rare thing. So how do you think that happened for you, that you were able to create that sustained, you won an award for sustained excellence.
Right.
How do you think that happened?
Well, I think, being an entrepreneur in this business is all about, there's a French expression, if I may use French here for a second.
I don't know.
Ooh la la! Petit à petit, l'oiseau fait son nid, which is little by little the bird builds its nest. And when you're an actor, you have to bring one twig into your nest, another twig, and then finally you have a nest that you can survive and thrive in. And for me, that's been about having many different aspects to my life that supports my acting, because acting doesn't always support, put the food on the table, as you say, but it does. It is my passion and my art. So I coach, I direct, I write, I teach. So there are many different facets to my life that all sort of feed into being an actor.
I love that. And I think it's a misconception about a lot of industries, and I'm glad you brought up entrepreneurship. And as an entrepreneur, you might think of varying streams of revenue. You're still an entrepreneur.
Yes.
And you're still an actor, an actress, even though you're generating revenue from different streams.
That's right. But you're focusing on the thing that you want to do, and the universe will come in and support that if you stay focused, I believe.
I love that clear intention.
You have a clear vision of what you want, and write it down, envision it, imagine it, do it.
Do you think that's a place where a lot of people get stuck?
I think if you ask someone, what do you want? People are often dumbfounded and can't articulate, I want to be the best actress in Boston or New York or the United States or the world. I mean, whatever your vision of what your potential is what that picture has to be in your mind. otherwise you don't have, it's about having a goal.
Yeah.
I have like little cards that I write, still, this is what I want. I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to write a play, I want to perform, I want a grant, whatever.
I love that.
You have to have a clear idea. Otherwise, you're just going to be a fish flopping around.
So let me ask you a question about that, because I know for myself, I sometimes get not overwhelmed, not sidetracked, but indecisive about which thing to follow. I like to sing. I like to do my branding business. I've started doing video projects.
Yeah.
And how do you decide which one is the focus at the right time?
I feel that if you pay really close attention, you know what your focus has to be. And you have to block out time and design your calendar around that focus. Listen to your heart, listen to your gut. I have several months coming up in January, February where I don't have employment. I'm thinking this is the time to finish writing this play I've been working on since 2010. So I'm looking at places where I could go to meditate, to be quiet, to write, to give myself that opportunity. But the day-to-day is very hard because, you have 3 or 4 different hats that you wear.
Right.
You can only do so much and know your limits, I think. You can't be everything.
Right, and I think that what you said initially is really important, is that you have one clear overarching objective.
Right.
I want to be the best actress I can
Yeah.
be, or I want to be the best in Boston or New York, and all of those things. I think that it's an inner compass of where you're going with that as an artist and a performer. And then those pieces kind of fall into place, as long as it's not this.
Right. It's always acting for me.
Right.
If there's a choice between acting and directing, or acting and teaching, I always take the acting opportunity.
I love that.
Even if it isn't, gainfully a better choice. For me, it's going to be a better choice.
I was just going to say, who says it's not gainfully a better choice either? Because
Yeah.
you don't know what that's going to result in.
That's right. And you never know where your choices are going to lead you.
You don't know who you're going to meet, and you don't know who you are going to become as a result.
That's
of having
right.
that
And I
experience.
also find that sometimes I choose something and I'm not that excited about doing it, and I swear 9 times out of 10 when I think, I'm not sure I love this play, but I need the weeks for equity or whatever, it turns out to be the most amazing experience. And, fireworks go off.
That's so cool. I was just reading Michael Singer's book, The Surrender Experiment, and he talks about, it's kind of a difficult concept because we're so goal-oriented and we have these things we want and our desires, and he talks about yielding to what life is putting in front of you. So following that initial pulse, like the play, and almost always, like what you said, something magical happens if you surrender to it.
Yes. There is, that's the paradox, is that you do need a vision, but you have to keep your senses aware for what might be coming to you where you might not be looking. And give up to that if that really is starting to feed you, within the construct of your idea of what you want to do.
Yeah, and you've been really clear that for you it's acting, that's what feeds you. So how did that become the thing? Did you always know? Was there a turning point?
I've been acting since I was 11 years old. So that's over half a century. You can do the math. When I was 11 years old, I started writing. I went to Catholic school. The nuns let me write playlets instead of book reports.
Nice.
And I would act out a page of the book with my friends that I scripted in voices. And of course, I was always the lead. And we'd act it out in front of the class. And so I started when I was 11 years old, I knew. And then 6th grade, that was it. I was going to be an actor.
Wow.
That's crazy, isn't it? But I have this feeling about women especially. They have a really strong voice before they become sexualized as in puberty. And if you have an 11 or 12-year-old girl, you will start to see her discover power in herself and her ideas about who she is before puberty hits. And so really, Carol Gilligan has written a book about this called In Her Own Voice. And it's really about, the power of women.
Well, we're going to go there. We are going to go there because there is a lot of talk about women in the world right now. And as an actor, as a woman, how do you think that art and being an actress and having a voice, how do you feel about your responsibility as an artist to have a voice about politics, to have a voice about how you see the world, not just as an artist, but as a participant in our society? How do you reconcile those things?
Well, I think that you can't be an artist unless you have a political point of view. Because your politics have to do with how you want to see the world, how you want the world to be a better place, not just for yourself, but for man, human, womankind. And politically, as political beings, we vote to make change happen. And as artists, we create in order to imagine that world or to show the world how it could change. I mean, there's, the essence of drama is conflict. And, Arthur Miller, one of the great playwrights of all time, has, shown that, has held a mirror up to nature, not literally, but like during the McCarthy era, he wrote The Crucible to show how that witch hunt literally was taking place in his own time by writing about the witch hunt in Salem. So whatever we do, we're always, as artists, we're trying to make the world a better place, trying to affect people, trying to affect your point of view. And you must have a point of view if you're an artist. I keep wanting to say actor because that's what I am. But any artist, any writer has a political point of view in it. I don't see how you can create without one.
Yeah, and I think that point of view is deeply tied to your sense of passion and drive. And I think it's true as an artist. I also think it's true as an entrepreneur. And one of the times that I came to work with you recently, I was going to give a talk at NASDAQ, and I was nervous. I mean, I'm a performer, but this was New York, NASDAQ. I was speaking in front of powerful people, but still, I wanted to tell my story. And I think that's something that I teach. And what do you think about the average person or the business person having a point of view? How do you think that plays together with story, point of view, business, brand, as an actor? Because you really helped me be more authentic to my story and bring that to the stage.
Well, just from the point of view of public speaking, you are in front of a group of people who are looking to you as an expert on something.
Yes.
And so part of it is having the confidence, which is also very difficult sometimes to develop, but to have the confidence of your convictions.
Yes.
And politically, you have to be very careful.
Yeah, and maybe it's not about politics, but just having a point of view.
Yes, but knowing what that is.
Yeah.
And, last night my husband and I were talking because he and I are both on the same side of the fence, but my brother is not. And Richard came in and said, I've always known that I was a progressive, that I want the world to be better for everybody. And so Richard inspires me because he's so clear about who he is. And I just think you have to ask yourself, well, who am I? And can I argue this point of view? And how, and do I read the newspaper? Am I aware of the newspaper? Am I aware of what's going on? or am I just sort of in the dark?
I think you just brought up really, really, really powerful points. Knowing who you are, knowing what you believe, and having that conviction, because that is what inspires people. And it does not have to have anything to do with politics. It could be about life. It could be about business. It could be about health. It could be about anything.
Yes.
But many people have a hard time. Who am I? Like they don't know maybe those strong beliefs until they are forced to sit down and really think about it. And I think that's kind of the question about that being able to articulate it, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. To name it.
Yes.
And to say, and to be able to say, at least to yourself, why do I feel this way?
Yes.
Why do I feel so strongly about, saving the whales or whatever it is? Yeah.
Right, because there are people on all sides of all fences that have points of view, and your truth is your truth.
Yes.
So you have to be able to name your truth, and that's what rallies people behind you, because I think a lot of people are not clear, and they don't get that same kind of energy.
Yes, and it is all about energy.
Yeah.
Energy. If you are clear and you know what your convictions are, that will feed your energy and your ability to connect with people.
So if someone is not clear, so I suppose when you're approaching a character, you have to think about their point of view as the character. How would you suggest that someone who's not an actor start to access that and build that point of view, or access that voice that they need to have to be powerful?
I find, and this is going to sound silly, but I find sometimes just taping myself into the phone, if I have to go on an audition where I have to improvise talking about myself or whatever, I sometimes just press the voice memo and go. And then and talk about something, myself or, the environment or whatever it is, just to kind of get the juices flowing. Another thing that I do is there's a great practice called the Artist's Way.
Yes.
Which is about finding out what you're really thinking, because sometimes you don't know that. In the morning, I don't always do it, but it's a great practice in the morning. When I'm writing, I do it, is to just sit down and write for, 45 minutes is the optimum, but even 20 minutes, 3 full 8x11 pieces of paper. Just write it out, and you will be surprised and amazed to find out what you put on those pages. Yeah. And then you will start pouring out. It's about allowing it to come, because it's in there.
Right.
I said to somebody, I was writing a show once, and I said, I have to do research on this, and then researchers said, Paula, it's right there. And I've never forgotten that, because there is so much in here that we think we need more preparation or more this and that. It's there. You just have to allow it to start coming out.
I think that's really, really powerful.
Yeah.
And it takes bravery.
Bravery and the willingness to just expose. And that's what's scary.
But I think that's why I wanted to have you on, because I think that's also a responsibility and a privilege of being a performer.
Yeah.
You're showing other people.
Yeah.
And by what you convey, opening up the emotional cage to let other people feel things that they don't normally. We're walking through our day, we're on our phone, and how often do you get to wail? Right? And
it's cathartic, and that's where the catharsis comes from for the audience, is that the actor, there was a famous actress called Zoe Caldwell. She did, Medea on Broadway. She's gone now, but she came to speak at my school when I was at university, and she said that we sit in the audience as a tribe and we nudge up against the person next to us, and the actor comes on stage, and before we know it, we're breathing with the actor and we're feeling what she's feeling, and that allows us to become part of the human experience that is being presented in story form on stage. And when the actor cries, we cry. When the actor laughs, we laugh, and we feel all of those things. And it's, for me, theater is a really important tribal experience that is getting kind of lost in technology, but thank God it's still an art form that's alive.
I think it's really important. And
Yeah. I mean, opera too. I mean, any kind of live performance.
totally,
Yeah.
because it's human interaction, and I agree that I think there's also something that's why we go to movies too, right? Is to be in the dark and like not looking at each other. We're having these emotional experiences.
No editing, just allow it to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what have been sort of your favorite roles that you've done that have been like maybe most challenging or most rewarding?
Well, I did, I did Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf 2 years ago at the Lyric in Boston, and it's an immense and amazing work by Edward Albee. The character is iconic. I mean, you say Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, and most people think, Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton. And that, getting to go through that every night and twice on Saturdays was horrifying. But it was, people would come up to me after the show and say, when you were weeping for your son, I just felt what it feels like to lose a child. And, I mean, there's a deep place you reach people with certain plays, That also happened to me with The Heiress, which is a play about a young woman who's an heiress in the 19th century. And it's a shattering play. And sometimes people need to feel shattered in a theater because they come out with all the cells in their bodies changed, and it's just the experience of art and beauty is you are transformed. Yeah. And I feel it's an honor to be an actor and a privilege to be an actor because I get to do that as my daily job.
That's incredible. It's such a gift. I heard someone say once, to me and through me.
Yes.
That it comes to me and through me.
Yes.
And to be a channel for, I think it's healing, a channel for healing with your work.
Can I get a little spiritual here?
The floor is yours, baby.
There's a mythologist, Joseph Campbell, who wrote Hero with a Thousand Faces. And my favorite quote of his is that the artist, if you allow yourself to be a vessel, you become transparent to transcendence, and that the audience, through you, is able to see the face of God.
Wow.
I mean, but when you think about it, the artist in prehistory was the actor or the singer was the person who channeled the energy of the gods and told those stories to the tribe. And so that's, in a simple way, in a simple and profound way, what we do now.
And I think that, to stay on the spiritual bent, I mean, the face of God is you.
That's right.
Right? And bringing you to you.
Yeah.
So helping people come home again to sit in the seat of who they are.
To that divine energy.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that it's one of the things, and shifting gears a little bit, entrepreneurs who want to speak and tell their story, I think they get stuck in this box of like, I'm a professional and I have to stay in this box of delivering. And it's like, your job is to tell the story and tell the narrative and connect with your audience. Be that channel.
Yeah, don't limit yourself.
Yeah.
In an idea of who you should be.
Yes, yes. And speaking of which, I don't know if we should call you Dame Paula, but you're very accomplished. You've played Lady Macbeth and Virginia Woolf and all of these different characters. But I remember I hadn't seen you for a while, and we live kind of near each other.
Yes.
And I saw you at the library, and I said, Paula, how was your summer? What have you been up to? And you said, oh, I just came back from clown school. I just love that.
Yeah, well, I studied clown in Paris.
Okay, let's just stop. How many people can say that? Well, I studied clown in Paris.
I also took belly dancing in Paris. I kind of wanted to be able to say that, so I took 2 classes in
Well,
belly
you said
dancing just so I could say, I studied belly dancing in Paris.
Oh my gosh, look out, crazy horse, here comes Paula.
No, but I studied at École Philippe Gaulier in Paris, and he was, his whole thing is clown and mime and mask. And my goal, I received the Fox Actor Fellowship, which you mentioned, and my stated goal was to become a more physical performer. And so, yes, I studied clown, and it was really astonishing.
Yeah.
It opened up another whole world of mask making and exploring that part of performing for me.
What do you think the most important lesson from clown school was?
Oh, let it all hang out. I mean, you can't. And also, the other part of it is you have to feed off of them. They are going to tell you where the next thing, the
Who's
audience.
them? Oh, the audience.
Yes, they will tell you what the next thing is. Because it's all improv when you're clowning. I mean, some of it is planned, but you have to listen because you may have a plan, but they have another plan.
Yeah.
So paying attention to your audience is one of the big clown lessons that I learned.
Wow. And I wanted to ask that because, again, like there's this thread of breaking out of the box, tapping into your emotions, being a channel, being, present,
Yes.
and not stifling that energy.
Yeah. It's very hard to do because we have two sides of the brain, right brain, left brain, and we want to keep in the safe side, which is the left brain. The executive function, the analyzer, the planner. But the right brain is going to feed you all sorts of other ideas if you let it, and you have to be open to it, because it's like teaching. You might come in with a plan, but somebody says, my cat just got run over, or my parents are getting divorced, and so then you do an improv about, what the conversation is.
I love that.
And that becomes the teaching moment, so you have to stay loose.
Oh my God, I love that so much. It's just about being a good mensch, like a human.
And paying attention.
Yeah, paying attention, and I love that.
What do they need? The one thing about acting that might feed into entrepreneurs is the definition of a good actor is somebody who makes her scene partner look good. And so you always are trying to see what is going to help you. I'm trying to see how to make you look good in this scene.
Well, I hope I'm making you look good in this scene. Oh my goodness. But I don't have to try very hard. You are so wonderful, Paula. And I want to thank you so much for coming. And
you're very welcome.
Acknowledge you for bringing your voice, your courage, your strength, your humor, and your vulnerability to all the stages that you've graced, to me as a performer and an actor, and now to our Thrive audience. I just commend you and thank you so much for your art.
Thank you, Heather. This is really an inspiration just to be here and get to say it all.
Oh, awesome. One last question, Paula. What does it mean to you to thrive?
To thrive is to be in balance. For me, is to be in balance so that I feel physically healthy, but also that I'm taking care of the inner voice.
I love that.
Yeah.
Balance. Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you to you as well for joining us. And until next time, here's to hitting all your high notes. Take care. Bye-bye.